Find the zeros of the following equation using the quadratic formula. All right, so they want us to find the zeros. The zeros are simply the values of x. And the way that we're going to find the zeros are by looking at the quadratic formula and using it. So right here, we have the quadratic formula in this little cloud thingy. We have to note that we have to find what the A is, what the B is, and what the C is. So we have to find the values for that. So our first step is always to find what A is, what B is, and what C is. Let's start with A. A is the number that is next to the x squared. So it's our coefficient. In this case, our A is 2. And we're going to note it down with blue. So our A is going to be 2. I'm going to be using colors to help you see it. Now let's look for our B. Our B value is the one that's next to the X. In this case, even though you don't see anything there, you know for a fact that there is a 1 right here. And it's not just any kind of 1, it's actually a positive because of this positive sign that we have here. So our B value is 1. Now our C, you can remember it as the constant. The constant is the number that does not have any variable stuck to it. So in this case, our constant is our -10. So C equals -10. Now next, after you have the values, you're gonna go ahead and rewrite the whole equation all over again. I'm gonna have to draw it this time because it'll take too long to type it up. But we have -b. So we have negative, our negative sign right there. And now it tells the B is 1. And then we have our plus and minus symbol right here. So I'm just copying it straight from there. Plus or minus. Radical, copy the radical. Now we have b to the power of 2. So I know my b is 1. So, and what I like to do, and I've told many of you, is to put the parentheses, because sometimes our b is a negative number. In this case, it's positive, but when it's a negative, it can really throw you off if you don't put those parentheses. So parentheses 1, and then to the power of 2. Next, it says -4. So we have -4. And then we have A and C. So A is 2. And remember, I'm going to put them in parentheses because I'm going to multiply in this case. So our A is 2. And now our C, we're going to have our C right next to this here. And it's actually -10. Close your parentheses. I'm going to extend my radical because it goes all the way here. Now I have to focus on the denominator. So I'm going to write my fraction bar or my division. And then I have 2 underneath and A right next to it because it's going to be multiplied by it. So A is 2. And I'm going to put that in parentheses. So parentheses 2. Now next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and separate them. When I say separate, it's because if you look at the equation right now, it has the plus and the minus together. So I'm going to separate them into 2 different expressions, and now have one of them be the plus and I'll have the other one be the minus. I'm going to keep it consistent with the other ones. So I'll have my plus on this side and I'll have my minus on this side. I'm going to make them thicker so you can see. So all I am doing right now is just separating so that we can see it more clearly. So I'm going to rewrite the whole thing again. So -1. But this time I'm just going to keep the plus sign right here. And I'm going to put my radical. Now notice, I'm not going to put nothing inside the radical for a reason. We're going to do one more step there. And then I know that 2 times 2 is 4. So I just put my 4 there. I don't need to put this again. And I'll do the same for this side, but instead of putting a plus sign, I'm gonna go ahead and put a minus sign. And then we put our radical. And then same thing again, our denominator will still remain as 4. Now, the next step is that because I want to get rid of everything that's in here. Well, not get rid of, but like simplify it. So what you've been taught to do is to take this and put it in GeoGebra so that you can get a simple answer. So let's go ahead and put it in GeoGebra. Again, remember the parentheses. So we have 1 to the power of 2. Then it's minus 4. And then inside the parentheses, we have 2 and negative 10. So 2. And inside the other parenthesis, we have negative 10. There you go. So your answer inside the radical has to be equal to 81, like this says. So we have 81 inside here. And some of you guys may already know that because this is radical 89, it just simply means that because the answer will be 9 for if we were to eliminate the radical, because 9 times 9 gives you 81. All right, next. What you're gonna do next is you're gonna simplify it. Again, you can just simply put it on GeoGebra like Ms. Hernandez have taught you. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna copy this and put it in GeoGebra. So I have negative 1. And then I have plus, okay, negative 1 plus radical. And then if you can't see the radical, it's because they have it here on the keyboard. I know the keyboard's this is acting up a little bit, but so we have negative 1, then plus radical 81, and then don't forget that you have to divide everything, divide all of this. So I'm going to put it in parentheses, put the division sign there. So see, you just gotta put the parentheses around, and then it will show, and then put division by, and it'll give you the fraction bar or the division bar. And then underneath, I believe it was a 4. Really horrible memory. And when this happens to you, like it did for me, all you have to do is again put the parentheses, and then you put your division sign here, and you can put your 4 underneath, and it gives you your answer. Your answer will be just 2. So for this side, it'll be 2. We have x equals 2. And then for this side, like I've told my students, you don't have to rewrite everything. You can just simply change the plus sign to a minus sign, because that's the only thing that changed. And that was negative 2.5. So you have x equals negative 2.5. Now, if you wanted to, this will be it. That's it. These are your zeros right here. If you want to go a step further, because like I've told you, like there's many different ways of getting your answers. You can also check in GeoGebra by actually graphing the equation to check to see if your answers are correct. 2x to the power of 2 plus 1x minus 10. Now, if you click on your, they're also known as roots. Your roots or your zeros. If you look at them, you have negative 2.5, which is one of your answers. So that's correct, negative 2.5. And your other root or your other zero was 2. And that's correct as well. So that's another way for you to make sure that you do have the correct answer.